We have a couple letters to read today as well that we've received from some ISAs. Again, if anyone's just joining us who is unfamiliar with the term, inside sales agent is what brokerages or like real estate teams hire to do cold calling, calling up and following up on their database and just lead generation pretty much. And these are things that agents sometimes don't like to do, so they hire other people to do it.
Let's jump into it.
Okay. Dear Lia and Zach, I heard about your channel from a friend. Oh, okay. This is a little bit of an introduction. Okay, I heard about your channel from a friend, and I really appreciate what you're doing. Thank you. Your content is very helpful to an ISA like me. My biggest roadblock taking calls is asking to uncover my client's reason for selling. This is especially when I talk to a FSBO, which is a for sale by owner. When I get a response like, I'm not interested or I'm not going to hire a real estate agent, what advice can you give me so I can develop my skills in asking more questions rather than talking the majority of the conversation, right?
Yeah. So we've addressed some of these concepts. I guess what I would say is the first thing I keep in mind with a FSBO or an expired, right? They typically don't want to talk to you, and they don't care much about your team. You have to justify every second of their time that you're taking. So how do you do this? There's a couple good lines that we'll talk about in a second that help buy you in the next 5 seconds, the next 5 seconds, the next 5 seconds. The next point is you want to be adding value with each one of these, and that's how we're buying those extra seconds. And I guess my third and fourth point, the third point is I was like, wow, that's a lot of fingers. Yeah, my third point would be they're not necessarily going to sign with you today, right? Now we would never say this to them, but there's the idea that they're going to sign something. They're going to sign a listing agreement with me. They're going to sign it with somebody else, or they're going to sign a restraining order against me. Until then, I'm going to keep calling.
The compound effect, right?
Exactly. So you may not actually get that listing. With that said, just keeping those in mind and that mindset, how do we actually go and buy those next couple of seconds? That gets into the introduction. Lia, would you like to share yours?
Introduction for these kinds of calls is very similar to you, like, hi, I usually try to, with my tone, I do try to act like I've already spoken to these people, like try to already get that recognition in the voice. So, like, hi, it's, if their name, whatever, Zach, hi, Zach, it's Lia Thompson from Keller Williams Complete. Like, just making sure it's like, oh, okay, let me see if I can remember what it is and then jump into it, right? The reason for my call, I noticed you've got your home for sale at 123 Main Street. Let's talk about your goals to see if they match up with what I have, going on with my buyers. Or, I'd be so interested to go walk through it. I have some buyers, who are interested, and I'd love to get an idea to see if we can match this up for you. Just offering, like you said, some sort of value so that they're hooked. Yeah. They don't care about your team. They don't care about any of that stuff, and they don't care about how they are, like you asking how they are. Yeah. Just cut it out.
We're saying, almost word for word the same thing, but I want to go ahead and dissect a little bit about why what you're saying is powerful, right? Mm-hmm. So I say almost the same thing. I say, hey, this is Zach with the United Home Group and the Keller Williams Realty Company. Real quick, reason for the call today. So I wanted to check in and go over what your goals are with the sale of this home, right? Almost word for word. Couple of big points. One is I'm announcing who I am. That's a very big point in making yourself look like a professional. They're like, oh, well, they'll hang up on me when they find I'm a real estate agent. Cool, then you're wasting your time if you keep talking to them, right? Go call them back next week, send them a text. Like, It doesn't help you to speak for 15 minutes with somebody that thinks you're not who you are.
Yeah.
So one is to introduce yourself. Two is two is actually, I'm not asking how you are. Now, of course, the client, of course I care, right? If we're going out with buyers, you got a glass of wine and a blunt, like, oh yeah, I love bay windows and yards. This is fantastic. But with the seller, you are buying every second. So I'm not going to ask you how you are because you're going to say, I'm busy, go away. right? Just like you said. So the next piece that you roll into is you introduce yourself and you go, reason for the call today. I like saying, real quick, reason for the call today. And there's some power in that tonality, which we'll talk about in a second. But the big point here is I'm respectful of our time. I'm a
Mhm.
professional and my time is valuable. You're a seller and your time is valuable. So let's get right to the chase here. Right? That's going to buy you an extra couple of seconds.
I love
The
that. I love that. You hear some people just sorry. You hear so many people as well say like, "Oh, sorry to bug you. I just wanted to." Don't even set it up that it's an inconvenience.
No,
Don't
that
say sorry.
destroys it.
Don't say sorry. Right? Like maybe that's just a highlight for whoever is
The
wanting some
Canadians.
insight. Don't ever. But you get, like ISAs, you're sorry, I don't want to waste your time, or, oh, I'm sorry for blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you've ever like fallen into that trap of wanting to apologize when you're talking to them. I don't know. Okay, that's a no based on what you, but
No,
sometimes
no,
it
I'm not. I'm not a
process.
Canadian going out for a rip. But exactly though, I completely agree with what you're saying. That's sabotaging to everything you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, completely. You're going past that. You're not apologizing for taking anybody's time, because you're supposed to be here. Because at the end of the day, or at the beginning of the day, it's better said. The beginning of the day, I wake up and I know for a fact there are people out here in my community who will be vastly better off in their personal life, their spiritual life, their financial life, and their business if they get the opportunity to hear what I have to say. And so I'm now morally obligated to reach out to them and to continually introduce myself, introduce my team, introduce what we can do, because I firmly believe that working with us is the best decision they can make.
Yes, mindset.
And
Set yourself up for that.
when you're coming from that, why would I apologize for helping you? I'm not going to be arrogant. I have many things to learn. That's why I'm on a team, right? We put the best professional in each space. But I am confident that that when you do decide to list with me, you will be better off at every single level. You'll be more protected legally. You'll make more money. You will be calmer, and the whole situation will make sense at the very least. Let alone any fires that end up getting put out, which happens all the time.
All the time. Yeah, yeah. So
Um,
organization, just making sure people understand the next steps, everything like that comes down to hiring a professional, to take care of you. Like it's one stop shop. You got to be covering so many aspects, right, of the job. It's not just, oh, put it on MLS. There's so many other aspects to it. So just going back to that point, absolutely, when you're having these conversations and trying to get them to be talking more, what are kind of your strategies in asking questions but not coming off too like,
yeah.
forward with questions? Because
So
I've gotten like, oh, that's a little personal, I'd rather not say. I've had that happen to me.
yeah. So I mean that stems right off the introduction. I don't like scripts. I like being a scripted person. What that means is I've found particular terms, and I've stolen them all from other people. But I've found particular phrases that are really, really good at articulating an emotional or an intellectual state, and I remember those. But it's a real conversation. So when I go into these, I have a intro that's scripted word for word, and the tonality has been tested and split tested to be correct. I
Yeah.
have mini closings that I practice every single day that turn it into the appointment. But the middle part is an honest conversation,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
the end of that introduction rolls us straight into those next questions, which is when we both use the same term, because we script practice together, which is, I'd love to take a couple of moments and go over what your goals are with the sale of this home. And so what do you hear back on that one? You hear, I want to sell it. Okay. I want buyers. I want a buyer without an agent. They're going to say something like, there's only so many things they can say, right? They already have their hand up going, I want to sell my house.
Yes, they're motivated
Perfect.
clearly. Yes. So pick up
Perfect.
on it.
So
Yeah.
tell me more about that. How much money are you looking for? What are you looking for in terms of, sometimes they'll ask, what do you mean by that? So, well, I'd love to know, what are you looking to sell the home for? Do you have any special conditions about the property? How long do you want to wait until the money comes in? And these are, I mean, they're very honest, they're sincere, but these are motivation questions, right? How much money do you want? Tell me more. What's your timeline? Tell me more. What? Tell me more. Tell me more.
When
And the second
you
they
do, where are
say,
you gonna go? Yeah, exactly.
yeah. And then when they throw a question back to you, there's one line you use, which is, that's exactly why we should meet. I'm available this afternoon after 3 because I got my break in the middle, right? So after 3, would 5 or 6 work for you tonight? They go, oh no, I'm not available tonight. But the same time's open tomorrow,
There you go.
right?
Rope 'em in.
Um, so how? I guess you have a lot more scripts that you use and memorize. How do you how do
What
you
you're
think
gonna
about that when you get how do you think about that when you get the different odd questions or the different not wanting to talks?
I, use stalls like you just kind of talked about, right? We've got the tell me more about that, or if they're, putting up, some sort of barrier there, just ask them for more information about it because it'll start spilling out, right? So I've used that approach where, you mentioned that you would prefer to work with a buyer that's not connected with an agent. Can you please tell me more about that? And just get them to talk, get them to talk. And I think that's something that was highlighted in the letter is how do I get these people to be the ones talking and not me being the ones talking? So open them up, those, open questions. Don't do the yes and no questions. So I tend to try to stay that way. I also try to appeal to people again because we're in Canada here. I try to appeal to people's potential sensitivities as well. So how has your family been during COVID? Like, how have you guys been doing? And I mean, we won't be always able potentially to use that as like an in, but some people's barriers need to just be kind of dissipated a bit before they feel comfortable answering any questions. So reading how they're talking, if you notice that they're being a little stern, oh, well, thanks so much. How's your family been, during COVID? Or how's everyone staying safe? Or I hope everyone's all well. And just show that personal side of things instead of just being all business all the time. I mean, this is a business and we're hired to do a job, absolutely. But this is also a people business. And I'm sure in another episode we'll talk about mirroring and things like that. But this is a people business, so I tend to do that. Do you guys?
On a cold call in California, in the beginning of the conversation, if you try to make small talk, you're going to be hung up on or cussed out. That's another big
Okay.
difference. Is I
So
probably get cussed out once a day. I like once a day. I don't think you've ever been cussed out in Canada. Canadians just don't know how to do that.
I have
It's too cold to be
definitely
rude.
too cold to be rude. Some people are just trying to conserve their warmth over here.
Yeah, you might need to snuggle in a minute before they freeze to death. Like, you gotta be friends.
I have most definitely heard people get cussed out here, told to F
Okay.
off, all the rest. Like, why the F are you calling me? Have I ever had that harshness to me? You know what? I am blessed to say that has not crossed my lead gen. I think sometimes you can use your strength to your advantage at this, specific time. I'm talking about the fact that I'm a woman and hearing a nice, soft toned woman on the phone. I don't think people's first approach are to ever say F off to this, soft tone on the phone. So if you're an ISA or if you're, just a person doing lead generation in general, use your strengths accordingly. I talk about tonality a lot. I talk about the fact that, if you heard me on the phone say, hey, this is Lia from Keller Williams, can, I come to a home evaluation, people are going to be like, who the flip is this girl?
Oh.
Like, hi, it's Lia from Keller Williams. I just wanted to, reach out and see if I could do a home evaluation for you. Like, people will, I've never heard someone say, F off because of that. So again, maybe that's just like a woman's perspective or, how you can use that strength. You have great energy on the phone though. So it's like so surprising to hear you're still.
I make a lot of calls.
Yeah,
I do probably 150, 200 phone calls a day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big part of that. And as to what you're saying, tonality is 90% of it, right? Male or female, that definitely is a factor, 100%. but just in listening to how you said that, right? The first one, like I didn't even want to finish listening to you say it, right? Like you sounded depressed. You were on the phone. Like, why do I want that depression near me? On the other one, it was like, oh my god, hi, let's do it. Wow.
Yeah.
So it was like the tonality makes a huge difference, and the energy. I stand up. I'm standing right now, but like I stand up for all my lead gen. You feel more confident. You feel more awake. If you put your phone up on a tripod, you can use both hands to talk. I almost feel Italian. It helps.
Yeah.
But I think as far as how to get people to open up, that's kind of the right mindset things. A lot of people can show you scripts. We were talking a little bit more about how do you think about the conversation in order to get it to change.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, main takeaways there for sure. Just be asking those open-ended questions for tonality is a big thing, and don't waste time in the beginning. You've got, like Zach said, like 5 seconds to catch someone. So you know, that's it. And we'll continue to kind of talk about different questions you can ask that are open-ended there.